Good morning, everybody. My name's Emily Cook. I'm a three-time Olympian in the sport of freestyle skiing, and I want to welcome all of you to Classroom Champions Live. So Classroom Champions Live is where we bring our incredible mentors directly into your living room. As always, if you have questions or comments, you can put them in the comment section, and we'll be sure to say good morning or answer any of the questions you have. And today is Wisdom Wednesday. And so for Wisdom Wednesday today, we're going to slow things down a little bit, you guys. If you've been watching, you know we usually have lots of energy. We get you up and moving. We bring you into the kitchen. We bring you into our athletes' living rooms for lots of workouts. But today, we have an incredible guest who's going to help us slow down a little bit. So our guest today has a huge list of accomplishments. She is currently Roger's hometown hockey co-host. She's also literally a rock star and an actress. We want to introduce today Tara Sloan. Welcome, Tara. How are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good. I'm good, all things considered. I'm at home in Toronto and everybody's healthy and happy.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Tara. I want to say a couple shout outs. Good morning to a few people. We have Lori with us this morning. We have Heather with us this morning. Good morning, you guys. Dylan is back. Charlotte is here. McKenna is here. Good morning. And Ashley as well. So good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. So Tara, the world is a bit of a different place today than it was a few months ago. I just read your A Different Spring essay, which was beautiful. And quite frankly, it made me cry. So thank you for sharing that. But can you talk a little bit about the changes that you're seeing and what you're seeing, especially out of our athletes that you are generally interviewing and working with on TV?
Well, I think the difference right now is that we're having a universal experience. So, I don't think we've ever had something before where we're all experiencing something at exactly the same time. And that includes athletes and the people that we look up to. All of our heroes are sequestered and stuck at home too, and figuring out ways to continue their training and continue their lives and stay safe and stay healthy. So, one thing that I do find really interesting as a byproduct of all of this, though, is that we're starting to be able to see people's lives as they unfold in a different way. We're starting to have access through shows like yours, through Classroom Champions Live, and all kinds of different things that we're seeing them, maybe athletes, more as real people than we did before. So in that way, it's a very humanizing experience.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we have so many athletes that are out there trying to make a difference, trying to help the people who are facing really big challenges right now. So I'm really thankful to our athletes who are doing that. So we have Charlotte. She's tuning in and she says, "Hi, Tara. I met you at Champion Chats in Calgary." She says, "Please come back one day."
Oh, I want to. I want to. I was supposed to come this year on April 23rd, and obviously that will be postponed to another time. But I'm a big Classroom Champions fan. And pretty much anything I'm asked to do, I will do. So I'll be there.
Oh, well, we so appreciate you, and we appreciate you being on with us this morning. So let's talk a little bit about the activity today. So generally on Monday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern time, you host meditation for people who can't sit still on your Instagram, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so I called it meditation for people who can't sit still because when you talk to people about meditation, often you'll hear them say, "Oh, I tried it, but I couldn't do it," or "I tried it, but I just couldn't sit still." And so it's a bit of a play on that because really, truly, even if you've been meditating for a long time, just like I have, I still have times where it's hard to sit still. It's practice. It takes a lot of practice. But I have days where my thoughts are all over the place and it's really hard to gather them and just be. So, it's a bit of a level playing field for all of us. And that includes kids. But I think right now it's a very anxious time in the world. And we're having a lot of new kinds of anxieties and new kinds of fears. And it's nice to have a tool in our toolbox that can help us maybe just take a moment and take some deep breaths and be with ourselves. So that's why I started it. It's for a lot of new meditators. And I think it's been really beneficial. And it's been really nice for me to kind of jump back into a meditation practice again.
Awesome. Well, it's also something that you can do as a family, right? So, Tara, I believe you have your 10-year-old daughter, Audrey, with you today, who's going to join us in this meditation. Is that right?
She's over there doing TikTok dances.
No,
Here, come here.
I'm just dancing.
I'm just dancing. So
Awesome. Well, dancing is welcome on Classroom Champions Live as well. That is for sure. But can you tell us, Audrey, do you meditate with your mom sometimes?
Yes.
You do. And Tara, can you tell us why it's important to slow down?
well, Audrey, can I ask you,
What?
when you've done mindfulness meditation, what have you found? Is it nice to just maybe sit still for a minute? Yeah. Because sometimes here's the thing with, and again, it is the same for grown-ups as it is for kids. Sometimes your thoughts kind of take over, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
imagine your thoughts as a train that kind of whizzes by, and sometimes you just get on that train and you can't get off. Well, the activity of just sitting down and starting to follow your breath can sometimes help you either not get on that train at all or get off that train a little bit earlier. So I think there are a lot of advantages just in the moment because you're working with your breath and you're working with being silent. And sometimes, we just need to get off our iPad
Mhm.
or our computer or our phone or our devices.
Yep.
And sometimes we just need to be purposeful. We need to intentionally create some time in the day where we just breathe. And yes, it can be boring and you don't have to do it for a very long time. But there's a lot of benefit in kind of being silent for a bit. So do you want to do it? You going to do it with me?
Let's do it. And let's invite all the kids and teachers and parents at home to join us. And then when we're done, we can check back in afterwards and see how everybody liked it. So, all right, Tara, take it away. We're going to do this with you at home.
Okay, fantastic. So we're going to start by taking some kind of comfortable position. Audrey and I are sitting on these sort of meditation cushions, so that allows us to have crossed legs and sitting up kind of straight, but you can sit wherever you are. So if you want to sit cross-legged on the floor, if you want to sit on a chair, on a couch, whatever. I don't really recommend that you lie down because I find that if I lie down, I start to want to fall asleep. But if that's the most comfortable position for you, I think that's okay too. I think the most important thing is just to make sure you're kind of evenly balanced. So maybe like kind of go over to one side, go over to one side, go over to the other side, and just kind of make sure that you're like in the middle, sitting wherever you are. Okay? And make sure that in some way you feel kind of firmly planted on the ground. So it's best if your feet can touch the ground. I know if you have little legs, maybe that's difficult, but just make sure that you kind of have some connection with what's below you, maybe just the seat below you. So we're going to think about having a straight back. And I don't know if anybody has ever done this with you, but Audrey, I'll do this with you, okay? Imagine that there is a string coming out the top of your head. So imagine there's a string coming out and it's kind of lifting your spine in a nice way. So you're feeling nice and upright, but not too rigid. So you're nice and upright. And in a way that kind of makes you more receptive or open to the world. Let's try something different. Let's try hunching over and see how that just kind of restricts your breathing and you don't see as much. Well, this is kind of the opposite. So we want to have a nice straight back, but we don't want to hold anything too tight. So we want to have a nice straight back, our head just kind of loosely on top of our spine. Now our shoulders, let's do this. We want to get our shoulders kind of loose and nice. So let's go up by our ears. Oh, and then let them down. And one more time. Up by our ears and let them down. Okay, so we want them to be nice and loose, no tension in our bodies. If you can, if you're sitting cross-legged or on a chair, just kind of raise your arms from the elbows and put your hands on your knees, resting. just like that. Okay. If you can, you want your mouth to be a little bit open, just so your jaw is not tense. Now, this might not be the case with kids as much, but adults tend to hold a lot of tension in their jaw. So we want to make sure that that's not happening. We don't want to be like this, but we want to be just a little bit like this. Okay, so we're just going to sit like this for a couple of seconds and just see how we feel. And we want our front, even though our back is nice and straight, we want our front to feel nice and open to the world. So it allows the most natural, the easiest breath possible. Okay, are you going to do it too?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're just going to allow our breath to come in and out naturally. What?
It's hard to do it without laughing.
It's hard to do it without laughing. That's okay. You know what? This is something that no matter what happens, it's fine, because that's why they call it a practice, right? It's not called a perfect. Okay, so if you need to laugh, fine. If you need to cough, fine. There's nothing very rigid. There are no rules. We're just trying to get to a place where we can be a little bit relaxed and just allow our breath to come in and out naturally, and just notice how that feels. And as we're doing that, maybe just sort of check in with the rest of your body.
You can't not laugh.
From your toes. Just check in with your toes. Check in with your ankles. And kind of put your attention all the way up your body. And just make sure nothing is too tense. Make sure you're not holding too much tension in. Because you really want this to be a posture you could sit in for a long time. Not that we're going to do that right now. And some people like to meditate with their eyes closed. Some people like to meditate with eyes open. So that's really up to you. Once again, I feel like when my eyes are closed, it makes it easier for me to fall asleep. So I keep my eyes open and I keep my gaze down just a little bit. Now, what you're going to notice when you start sitting here is you're going to start thinking about stuff. Right, Audrey?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's okay. We all think about stuff. And on different days, we think about different stuff. And on different days, we think about more stuff or less stuff. And again, this is sort of like a judgment-free place where we're going to be. We're just going to let those thoughts come in, but we're also going to let them go out. We're just going to notice them coming in. And if you notice your thoughts, you're going to say to yourself inside your head, thinking. Just notice it thinking and then let it kind of disappear. And we're going to put a little bit of attention just on our breath. Just notice ourselves breathing in and breathing out. And the thoughts are kind of just like fireflies. If you've ever seen a firefly, they just kind of light up and then it's dark again. And they light up and it's dark again. And that's kind of how thoughts are. And every time you actually notice that happening, sometimes you get on that train and you're there for a while. But you'll notice it. You can say, oh, I'm thinking. And then you start to come back to your breath. And sometimes you'll have kind of longer periods where you don't have these thoughts coming in and out. One exercise that I like to do to kind of keep track of how I'm doing is I can count my breaths and see how many breaths I go without getting distracted by something. And honestly, for me, who's been doing this for almost 40 years, it's not very many. So be kind to yourself and be gentle with yourself. Just see if you can get a few breaths in without getting distracted onto the next thought. So this is something that you can do for even a couple of minutes every day. And I would say having a regular meditation practice is really good. It's kind of like the way that we exercise, right? We exercise our bodies, and we spend a lot of time talking about that kind of training. Well, this trains our mind, this exercises our mind, and gives us just a little more ability to notice when we're getting carried away with some of our thoughts. And for you guys as kids, if you start this early, this is going to set you up for a lot of success later. So you can do it every day if you remember, or as much as you can. But you can also do this if you're feeling anxious or angry or feeling an emotion you're not comfortable with. You can just take a couple of breaths and just kind of recenter yourself and start again. So I really recommend this, but I don't recommend it for long, long periods of time.
How long would you recommend that someone do this on a regular basis? First of all, thank you. That was so nice. I was doing it at home as well. And Audrey and Tara, we really appreciate it. But so how long would you have Audrey do this with you for?
5 minutes is fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And shorter if that's, I think there's no point in pushing too hard. That's really not the point. But at the same time, we know that it's not easy, so you can't just give up. But yeah, I would say be realistic. If 3 to 5 minutes seems like something that's kind of workable, then that's great.
Perfect. So we have a couple questions that came in while you guys were meditating. Dylan wants to know, Dylan actually has 2 questions. First question is he wants to know, does this kind of meditation help relax your muscles, or is it mostly about your brain?
Well, I think it could definitely help relax muscles. There are certain specific practices that you could do. If you wanted to do a specific practice to relax your muscles, then I would do something lying down. And I did a very quick, what we call a body scan. So kind of going from your toes up through every part of your body. And you start to notice where your tension is and start to think about releasing that. Lying down is probably an easier posture than this. But this, if this is a comfortable place for you to hang out, then you can do it here. But definitely feel free to lie down for that version of a practice.
Yes, as a young athlete, I learned how to do what they call progressive muscle relaxation. So kind of similar to that, where you check every body part and you tense your muscle and then you relax it. So I think that, Dylan, would probably be a little bit more towards relaxing the muscles as well as the mind. And that's something that I used to do to help me relax either before a competition or after a competition if I was really revved up, especially on days where we had back-to-back competitions. That was important for me. So let's see. Dylan also wants to know how you're coping with all that's happening. Are you using meditation to help you cope?
Definitely. Yeah, I usually have a very, very busy life, and I do a lot of travel. And I have found that even though I'm home, my mind and my brain is just as busy as it always has been, and in fact, maybe even more so. So I think just the intention of sitting down and slowing down is it's such a good place to start. Just to remind yourself, okay, wait. I don't have to be this busy all the time. So I definitely found a lot of comfort in my meditation practice.
Absolutely. Me too. And Ashley points it out perfectly. Miss Anderson, one of our Classroom Champions teachers, says, why is it so hard? Busy brain. Yes, busy brain. I think we all have busy brains right now for sure with all that's going on. McKenna said it made her really tired. That's okay, McKenna.
Yeah, it is okay. And you know what? I did a meditation session last week with a very established meditation practitioner, and she was asked, what do I do if I start to fall asleep when I'm meditating? And maybe, she said, maybe you need a nap. So, maybe the case is maybe you're actually tired, and maybe what's better for you this time is actually lying down.
Well, and that's exactly what Miss Maya, Ella Maya, one of our Classroom Champions teachers as well, says she does every night to fall asleep, and McKenna agrees. So I agree, you guys. There's a lot of different ways to use meditation, and Tara and Audrey have shown us a wonderful way to do it today. So for the kids at home, you guys can try this. You can do it for just 5 minutes on a daily basis, or as often as you'd like to do it, just to slow things down a little bit, to connect with yourself. Tara, we are going to wrap up here. Is there anything else that you want to share with the kids and teachers and parents at home today?
Well, I just want to wish everyone well, and please stay safe and stay healthy. And I'm just sending everybody my love. We're all going through this together, and this Classroom Champions resource is so amazing. So keep on doing it. You're going to learn so much, and I'm really grateful to have been a part of it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Tara. Everyone at home, you know that we would never leave you without a challenge. So here it is. Join Tara and Audrey in today's meditation practice. Let us know how you feel afterwards. You can do that just sharing on social media with us using #ClassroomChampions, but you can also find more mindful minutes. So a little bit different than what Tara and Audrey did today, but some really cool things that you can use from our athlete mentors. You can find those at classroomchampions.org. If you sign on to our free resources there, you can find them at classroomchampions.org. So go ahead, find those, share them with us. Tara and Audrey, thank you again. McKenna is saying bye. Ella is sharing that she did this multiple times a week in her classroom. Ella, that is awesome. I think it helps every single one of us, whether you are a kid, an adult, a teacher, a parent, anything. We could all use a little more mindfulness and a little more meditation in our lives. So thank you, Tara and Audrey, for joining us. Tomorrow, you guys, we will be back. Creative Kids Thursday. We will be drawing again with Haley Daniels and Lucy Yang. So join us then. Thanks, everyone.